God bless you guys. My name is Ty Jackson. Welcome to my YouTube page. For those of you that are new to my page, you will find amazing videos down in the playlists and longer teachings because I do a lot of TikToks. I have over 400K followers on TikTok, about 18K on Instagram, a good amount on Facebook, and almost 100K here on YouTube. And one key thing that people have been asking me is to make longer videos. So I've been doing it spotty, but I'm getting more consistent with it. This is going to be my third video within the last 4 days or so. And so for those of you that like this video and that like the past videos, check them out. What I want you to do is hit the like button, okay? Because that tells YouTube's algorithm that you like it and it helps to push it out for others to see it, and it becomes beneficial for others to see it. In addition to that, for those of you that want to stay on my page, go and click the subscribe button, but when you click it, hit the bell icon, okay? So you'll be notified whenever I upload a brand new video. All right, let's get into it. What am I going to be talking about today? Well, as you can see in the title, these are 3 key signs that we're in the time of the end. I'm going to say that one more time. 3 key signs that we're in the time of the end, and it has to do with the heavens. All right, 3 key signs. I'm going to say it one more time. 3 key signs in the heavens that we're at the time of the end. All right, you guys ready? Now, in order to understand this, we have to go back to the origin of God's creation of the earth and the heavens, okay? Genesis 1:14, it says, "Then God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night. Let them be for signs and seasons and for days and years." Okay, so when you take a look and you see the sun, you see the moon, you see the stars, and of course planets, because planets are mentioned in scripture. I got to do another video on that. These were created, yes, we know, for days. Yes, we know for seasons. Yes, we know for years. But the Bible also makes an interesting correlation with this. He makes an interesting point when talking about this. He created it for signs. What exactly does it mean when it says that God created these in the heavens for signs? Well, we have to go back in the Hebrew to see what it meant. Okay, so let's go in the Hebrew. What does it mean? Sign in the Hebrew means oath, right? And what this means, I want you to listen, okay? It means witness, a sign, a banner, or an omen. I want you to think on that, okay? And I know some people are going to say, well, doesn't it say in the Bible that interpreting omens is wrong? Yes, whenever it has to do with the enemy, okay? But right here, it says, and you can translate it to say, based on the Hebrew wording, that then God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night. Let them be for omens in seasons and for days and years. So when you take a look up the systems that God placed in the heavens, it's to act as a banner, an omen, a sign of something that God is bringing upon the earth, okay? For example, you'll notice anytime in history when a lunar eclipse, a blood moon, falls on Jewish feast days, that it could be a bad omen for Israel. But if I remember correctly, a solar eclipse is a bad omen for the world at certain time periods. The last solar eclipse that we had here in the United States, which we have another one, we're due for another one next year, which is extremely interesting the way that it happened, was in 2017, right? And myself and others were going saying, hey, USA, this is a sign from God. Things are about to get topsy-turvy. People were like, no, it's not. This always happens. Not in the way that it was happening at that point in time and like it's about to happen, because that was one then, and 7 years from that is another 2024. And it literally makes an X upon the United States. Xing the United States out. I got to do another video on that. However, soon after the year 2020 hit and the entire world was shut down. I want you to really think about that. People, they blast and say, well, that's not for this. The signs in the heavens, that's not for this. That doesn't happen anymore. All that. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of that, man. 2017, we were warning people, telling people, take a look. And that's on my Facebook. I was people were trying to, post little shade statuses talking about these prophets, these doom and gloom prophets always prophesying something bad's going to happen. That's not God. 2020 testifies against you. I want you to think about that. So, biblically speaking, God shows signs in the heavens. Okay, understand that. Now, the heavens act as a banner or sign or omen. So, I want you to listen to this interesting thing that Jesus said in Luke 21:25, okay? He repeated this. He said there will be signs in the sun, the moon, and in the stars. On the earth, nations will be in turmoil, perplexed because of the roaring of the sea and the waves. I'm going to say that one more time. There will be signs in the sun, the moon, and in the stars. On the earth, nations will be in turmoil, perplexed because of the roaring of the sea and waves. There is so much embedded right here with 3 key signs of the time of the end. One of them is scientific, I believe. The first sign is the roaring of the waves. In the Greek, this means echo. It means report, noise, or blast. Jesus insinuated that there was going to come such cataclysmic, destructive events as it relates to water at the time of the end. Now, we've always seen storms on the water. You have in the Bible times, when the Bible was written, the book of Acts, you had Euroclydon, right? That was the key storm that you see in the book of Acts that was extremely dangerous, had people scared, right? So there have always been storms. That's not the key point. When you look at what Jesus is talking about and you link it into Matthew and to Mark, you'll notice that this is in alignment with the birth pains, okay? So when Jesus says there will be this, there will be that, there will be earthquakes, wars, rumors of wars, Jesus is not talking about each of these in isolated events. He likens it to birth pains. So for those of you that have been pregnant, or men, those of you that have had a wife, that's been pregnant, right? Or somebody that's pregnant or that has been pregnant, you'll notice that the first trimester, the second trimester, the third trimester, as it gets closer to the baby coming, everything starts to go haywire. It seems like, all at once, the contractions start getting tighter and closer, and you have false and you have true, right? They start getting closer together, more violent, and then the water breaks and the baby comes. The water breaks and the baby comes, right? What Jesus is saying is at the time of the end, there will be an increase in earthquakes with wars, with rumors of wars, with pestilences, hello 2020, with great storms and issues on the water that will cause the water to consistently give an echo. And if you hear people that are around the storm or around oceans when storms happen, they say that it sounds like an echo is coming off of the water. Interesting. Roaring also means report or blast. It can sound like a blast, literally. The waves hitting, it sounds like a blast, right? And there's a lot of reports on it. So the first key sign is the extreme destructive nature of the weather patterns and link with water, okay? That's the first one. Now, the next one. Jesus said that nations will be in turmoil, perplexed because of the roaring of the sea and waves, right? Now, the Greek word that's used for turmoil or perplexed means dismay, and it means distress, anxiety. Listen to this next part. Tension from difficult circumstances that won't move. Tension from difficult circumstances that won't move. As the earth continues to get in these stages, you hear the weather people talking about that storms are going to become more common, and they are becoming more common. As we can see, you recently see these uncommon tornado outbreaks starting to happen at times they're not supposed to happen. They just released news reports about it, but that's goes in link with what I'm talking about. But with the water in itself, they're talking about that storms are going to continue to get worse with water and all of that, different things like that. And so this doesn't seem like anything that's going to move. And there are a lot of people that live in coastal areas that's worried for tsunamis, right? Worried that a tsunami is going to hit Florida, that's going to hit California, that's going to hit New York. Worried tsunamis are going to hit. And when these things happen and take place, you know, people get very distressed. They get very antsy, right? And if we even just take a look at this and we look at it from an indirect perspective, we even see that the nations, in link with 2020 and just the time period we're living in, look at me with a straight face and tell me that the nations are not in distress, filled with anxiety. The world right now is literally like a water pipe that's closed off, but water keeps going and it's about to bust. That is the mentality of the earth right now. We are literally on the cusp of WW3. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. World War III, for those of you that don't know. The world right now is filled with distress, anxiety, and is just perplexed, okay? That's a key sign, emotional sign of the time of the end. So far we see a weather pattern, right? Is a sign of the time of the end, dealing with the waters. You see this emotional sign. The emotions of people will be out of whack at the time of the end. There's other scriptures pointing towards this. Emotions will be out of whack. People will be filled with anxiety at the time of the end, right? Number 3, scientifically, this wraps it all together. And I'm angry that I didn't catch this sooner, right? But as I was studying, to get this video ready, it hit me. I'm like, wait a minute. You put 2 and 2 together, this is what it makes. Jesus said that there will be signs in the sun, the moon, and in the stars, right? He linked that with the waves roaring, right? He also said in the midst of the birth pains that there will be famines, pestilences, earthquakes. Signs in the sun, moon, and in the stars, roaring waters, earthquakes. Number 3, USGS reported that there was a correlation between earth tides and some earthquakes as it relates to the moon. There will be signs in the sun, the moon, and in the stars. The seas and the waves roaring. There will be pestilences, earthquakes. And scientifically, a study notated that there was a connection between the moon, earthquakes, and tides. One study noted, according to USGS, that during the times of higher earth and ocean tides, right, fuller new moon, earthquakes are more likely to occur. Matthew 24:8. So let me draw this back in connection with you, okay? Jesus said there will be signs in the sun, the stars, and in the moon, okay? And it's notated that during full or new moons, which can be prophetic in itself during certain times, earthquakes are more likely. Jesus gave scientific knowledge indirectly about the moon being connected with earthquakes because the signs that would be in the moon would happen at the same time that there are signs with earthquakes in diverse places. Scientific knowledge on this. Understanding what Jesus said. Because Daniel said in the book of Daniel, or it was said in the book of Daniel that when Daniel was being talked to, that knowledge will increase at the time of the end. Jesus noted that there will be signs in the moon, and he noted that there will be an increase of earthquakes in diverse places. Scientifically, they have seen connections with the moon, full and new, with more likely earthquakes. We have come into the scientific knowledge of that. If you don't know Jesus, get to know him. Romans 10:9. All right, check it out and read it. So to just do a quick recap, sign number 1 would be an increase in danger as it relates to oceans. We're seeing that increase. Sign number 2 would be the emotional aspect of the human race as it gets closer to the time of the end. And that emotional aspect would be anxiety, distress, and heavy tension as it relates to events that don't seem like they'll move, and to the oceans, right? We've seen that with storms and oceans. We're also seeing that overall in the earth currently. Overall. And point number 3, an indirect sign, is Jesus saying there will be signs in the moon and an increase of earthquakes in diverse places. Scientifically, they found out that new moon, and the moon has a connection with more earthquakes. And Daniel said knowledge would increase at the time of the end. So these are 3 signs, and I'm going to do a lot more of these kinds of videos too, but that we're in the time of the end. So I hope you enjoyed. Remember to hit the like button to tell YouTube that you like this video, to push it out for more people. Share this, with others that you believe that need to hear it. Also, if you when you subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when I upload a new video. Okay. Now, we also, at the end of every month, my wife and I, or myself, we do a class, and the class dives into extremely deep topics, have quizzes, different things like that, to teach on different topics. This month's 3-day class is going to be on spiritual warfare. We're going to be talking about and teaching on how the enemy attacks you in your sleep, marine spirits, how to get and maintain freedom, and a lot more. Succubus, incubuses, spirit spouses, and a lot more. Now, if this sounds like something that could be beneficial for you, want to be a part of it, go to the comment section or to the description, and you will see a link there to click to join the class. Okay, and when you click there, you go where it says get ticket, and you join. Okay, it also has more information. It is not a live class, it is pre-recorded, so you can watch at your own pace. But if you do join, remember, check all your folders when it's sent out, because if you have certain settings on, it can send it to wrong folders. All right, hey, love you guys. Be looking out for a new video tomorrow as well. I try to do them, my pattern is going to be 2 days on, 1 day off, Lord willing. I may get 3 days on and 1 day off, right? Or so,